while searching and how to stand out within your internship. And then we will get into some of the internship eligibility requirements, the internship process, um, in regards to depending on what school you're in, and then we will leave plenty of time for questions. And then if at any time you have questions throughout, Alyssa will be monitoring the chat Q&A location. Um, we'd love to hear from you as well. So if you feel free to put your major in there, if you've ever had an internship before, or if you're in the search process, ask questions. Like I said, we love to hear from you. So at any time, you can post comments or questions in the Q&A. All right, and then just so to kind of get us started, get a little interactivity, either if you have your phone, scan the QR code, or you can visit menti.com and type in the code on the screen, 83533941. I just kind of want to hear from you all, in your own opinion, own words, maybe own experience, what is an internship? And I will share my screen so we can see some of the answers coming in. Perfect. Here, I will leave that QR code up just a second. Sorry, I think I took that off too quickly. And there's no, I don't think, right or wrong answer to this, just kind of what you think an internship is or can be. We'll just take a quick few seconds, see a few answers coming in, and then we'll move on. But this will, also be up throughout the presentation. We can always come back to it later. Perfect. Yeah, important tool to gain experience and grow within your field. And we will also kind of touch on a lot of the different purposes and benefits to an internship, and it kind of goes over all of this as well. Yeah, opportunity to learn job environment, especially if you've never been in the workforce. Sort of half a job gives you some experience and a foundation to build within your field. That's a great one. Perfect. Yep. Opportunity to experience and solve real world problems. I love that. Learn how to solve it. Also learn about the etiquette in a professional environment. That's perfect. Well said. All right. Well, I really appreciate all of you that shared. And if anybody once we can come back to this later on and look and see if anybody else wants to submit answers. But thank you so much for those that shared. And we will move on. Okay, so as I said, why are internships important? Well, one of the most important internship benefits is that, college graduates who already have some um, work experience um, in an internship stand out to potential employers. But internship experience also makes the college grad more marketable as they, usually require less training and can handle more responsibilities. And so, obviously, on a personal level, um, internships are important personally because internship experience often opens the doors for possible future employment. They can also help determine if you can be a good fit for certain positions, and really if a company would be a good fit for you, right? So, working as an intern will allow you to understand more about yourself, where you would like to work, as well as the type of work that you would enjoy doing in your career or future career. There are also, students that say doing an internship actually helped them figure out that they really maybe didn't want to go into a particular career field. And they may have not figured that out if not for that internship experience. And, by pursuing internships as a college student, you're really adding to your professional network. And then, as most of you said in that Menti poll, learning more about which career paths are right for you, learning, you know, m- just more of that experience you need. And then another important reason internships are important are, the financial aspect. So financially, they're are obviously really two main types of internships. Ones that are paid and ones that are not. This is because you really aren't there to earn money, but rather to earn valuable knowledge and that experience. Now, not all companies pay interns, but a lot do, and I think that time is really changing as well. But obviously, having a paid internship allows you to earn a paycheck while also having a flexible schedule that works around your life as a full-time student. And especially, some of you may already have a full-time job, so that internship may be in addition to a full-time, workload. So when thinking about those positions you're looking at, make sure to factor in whether or not you will actually need to take a paid internship, or if it's a good experience, maybe you can, afford to take the an unpaid internship. And then academically, so depending on your degree plan requirements, you may be eligible to receive academic credit for your internship opportunity. This varies by academic program. So, please be sure to reach out to your academic advising team for any specific degree requirements. Um, but we will also discuss a little bit of this later on in the presentation. But if you are interested in obtaining academic credit for an internship, you must complete all of our University Career Center requirements that, again, we'll discuss later on in the presentation before beginning your internship. So ideally, that would happen before you begin that experience. Additionally, the internship employment period um, must be, I'm sorry, the internship employment period and the internship course enrollment must be done in the same semester, um, basically at the same time. So, in another reason why obviously internships are important, and a lot of you touched on it in the Mentee poll as well, professionally, again, because you gain that valuable work experience. I mean, the hands-on work experience interns receive is really invaluable, and can't really be obtained in a classroom setting all the time, making this one of the most important benefits of internships in our point of view, I feel. Having the opportunity to witness firsthand the day-to-day job duties you can expect to encounter in your chosen field um, really is a great experience. In addition to learning the specialized skills of a particular field, you learn, transferable skills such as communication, teamwork, and computer proficiency are, also obtained in an internship. Really, fully preparing you, uh, to enter the workforce upon graduation. Working as an intern usually you don't have years of experience behind you, um, and that's okay. Again, a major part of having an internship is learning more about the field, as well as your personal strengths and weaknesses. And so, what is a quality internship assignment? If you all have never had one before, kind of when you really think about it, that picture we use many years of many references because obviously an internship is not just someone a body there getting coffee. Um, it must be, related to your academic discipline and your level in school. Well planned out in advance of your starting date. It allows you to be fully integrated as a member of the work team. So they really treat you like one of the team. Um, and someone, an internship supervisor or team provides regular feedback regarding your performance. You have an appropriate supervisor. You have great guidance. And, again, it's a learning experience. So really having that guidance and that learning aspect in that. And then, it differs from other short term job or volunteer opportunities in that there is an intentional learning agenda again. And they offer meaningful opportunities for you to increase your knowledge and improve upon those job related skills I just touched on. And then another important one is they don't require you to spend, just like that picture, more than 20 to 25% of your time completing repetitive tasks such as copying, filing, any of that sort of thing. Again, you're integrated in the team. You're learning, you're doing things with them um, in that aspect. All right, so I didn't go anywhere. There we go. Okay, so preparing for your internship search. Um, the first thing I think you'll want to do is, think about and evaluate, what are your career values? What career or industry interests you? And you'll need to find out what your skills are and use them as tools in that internship search, because that'll help you match those within the job descriptions of different positions. And then, just to shameless plug, but one very good tool that we utilize in the University Career Center are career assessment testing, such as the MBTI or Strong Inventory. And we will touch on that a little bit later on how you can get that. Another, the next step I'd say is, really create a timeline for yourself. Say, I'm going to get my resume updated and tailor it to a few of my top internship positions by next month. Or, set a goal that you will complete 2 appointments with your career consultant to go over your interviewing skills. Um, I find that setting small goals like that doesn't really make the process maybe a lot of processes not so overwhelming if you set those small goals. Um, and then create your 2-minute introduction or elevator pitch. And again, to mention, each and every one of you has a designated career consultant in the University Career Center. And again, I'll kind of tell you how to get in touch with them later if you don't already know. But again, so, go over your elevator pitch, ask your career consultant or someone to give feedback on it. Start thinking about how to make connections, whether that be connecting to a UTD alum in your career field of interest, or, they graduated with a similar major, or, making sure to follow or reach out to some people in a company, you're interested in through LinkedIn. I mean, one thing I find useful on LinkedIn is it shows you who's connected, that you're connected with at UTD. So I think that's, getting in touch with a lot of alumni. They really like to, give back to current students. So again, seek support. Many staff, faculty, and, even your peers are here to help you on your journey. So, the University Career Center, we offer a wide variety of resources to help you on this, internship search and the preparation of, your interview process. Um, so, we have anywhere from, interview preparation appointments to mock interviews, internship search, job search. So, lots of resources there. And so now that we've done all of that planning and evaluating and strategizing, now practice. So, as I stated before, be sure to practice your 2-minute intro, your interviewing skills, especially now that, almost everything is virtual and probably will stay virtual, if not a hybrid model. Take a real look when applying, making sure you meet the qualifications, and you're reading the job description thoroughly. The first step after deciding that an internship is the right path for you is, to research and explore all the possibilities. It really may, be beneficial to speak with someone about those internship possibilities, and you want to make sure that your profile has been updated on Handshake, um, and, reflects what's in your resume, reflects what is current. You may also, want to look into some different, online resources that can help you guide your search or broaden your opportunities. And we, again, will touch on this a little in a few slides as well. And then again, you all know about Handshake because you registered for this event. But if you didn't know that all the things we use Handshake for, quite a few things. So again, That's where most of you will report your internship. But that is where you can search for internship opportunities. We have a career resource library. If you're, ever looked for a part-time on-campus job, that's where they are as well. Again, resume and cover letters, that's where we have, full-time job listings. And then typically, around the fall and spring, we do have employers that come on campus. It's usually after the career fairs or expos. However, since those are virtual, I think, that's been done a different way. But when you see OCIs, it's typically when the employers are using, we have some interview rooms in our center, and they come on campus and basically interview students that they met, previously at a info session or a career fair. But again, I think those are not quite happening yet. It's back in person. Again, career readiness seminars and workshops. We have obviously the career expo listings. And anytime employers come on campus, whether that be a tabling event in the student union or an information session, those will be posted on Handshake as well for you to register for. And again, volunteer opportunities as well. And then you can book appointments with our UCC staff. So again, as I said before, each one of you has a career consultant in the UCC, and that you can make an appointment with um, through Handshake. So if needed, that be. Okay. And again, listed our, Handshake resources, but we also have some, in addition to having Handshake, obviously, as a tool, you also have um, our resource library. Um, there are career assessments you can take, as I kind of mentioned before. There is a program called Interview Stream that's really great. It helps you prepare for interviews, provides feedback as well. So there's, what can I do with my major? Just to name a few, but there's quite a few. I think there's 10 or so. But yes, Alyssa also just posted the link, so feel free to visit that. Um, and it just logs you in with, your single sign-on, your student sign-on, and then yeah, start increasing your professional development. There's plenty of options on there. And then just to, touch on some other internship tools besides Handshake, obviously, LinkedIn. I don't have on Indeed on here, but I know some students have used Indeed, Glassdoor, Vault, obviously Google. Just if you're not familiar with those are some search tool engines. And I think, yeah, Alyssa, do we have any questions at the moment? I don't think I see any.
No, no questions, but if you all have any at any time, feel free to drop that in the chat and then we'll get to it a little bit later. We'll have another point for questions at the end of the presentation. So we'll get to you eventually.
Thank you. I know that was a lot of info too, and then, we'll go over some more things. And like Alyssa said, if at any time you have questions, we will, we'll save them and answer them at the end, if not in the chat. So, all right, well, I will go ahead and move on. Okay, so how to stand out in your internship. Um, so, set goals and objectives like I kind of touched on before. Communicate these to your supervisor. When you're in an internship, really, being that intern that they'll remember. I think that's the big kind of thought here is, I want them to remember me if I, spend just a few months there. Remember, make an impression. So, um, and also, be professional. Someone said earlier, consider your appropriateness of your attire, the computer, cell phone use, and in that sort of nature. So, I think from when we've spoken to employers, interns who show initiative, they remember, they make a good impression, show initiative. So, if you're bored, ask for assignments or request to attend some different meetings, participate a little more. And then complete all tasks with your, enthusiasm and a positive attitude. Ask questions. A lot of interns, I think, are, I don't want to say, maybe a little hesitant to ask questions. They don't want to bother their supervisor, bother, other people. But ideally, that's what you're there for. A lot of those professionals may have been, interns before as well. So really, soaking up all you can there. Ask questions. And again, get involved with the company network. So you meet some different people on a team, add them on LinkedIn or, keep those connections going. Okay. And then if you have not heard of NACE, we use this a ton in career services, obviously. So, NACE is the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So, NACE, they connect employers and career professionals and recruiters. So we all, kind of talk and they poll employers, they poll career centers, recruiters, and this is basically, the 8 core competencies employers seek. And this is from this year, so this is updated. Career and self-development. So proactively develop, yourself and your career through continual personal and professional learning. You're aware of your strengths and weaknesses. Um, you networking to build relationships within your organization and, um, outside of that organization. You're constantly, you know, bettering you're developing your career and self-development. um, Communication. So clearly and effectively exchange your information, ideas, facts, and perspectives with inside your organization and without and outside. I'm sorry. Critical thinking. Identify and respond to needs based on your understanding of situational context and the relevant information. You can critically think and figure out a solution. No, a newest one, equity and inclusion. Can you demonstrate the awareness, attitude, knowledge, and skills required to equitably engage and include people from different local and global cultures? Can you engage in anti-racist practices that actively challenge the system, structures, and policies of racism? You show leadership. You recognize and capitalize on personal and team strengths to achieve organizational goals. Professionalism. Knowing work environments differ greatly. Can you understand and demonstrate effective work habits, and then act in the interest of the larger community and workplace? Another big one is teamwork. You build and maintain collaborative relationships to work effectively toward the common goals in the organization, while also appreciating the diverse viewpoints and share responsibilities in the organization. And then the last one is technology. Can understand and leverage technologies ethically to enhance efficiencies, complete tasks, and accomplish the organizational goals. All right. So just some ways connecting with employers. We have year-round connections in casual and formal settings. As I kind of touched on before, employer information sessions. Um, those can be virtual or on campus now. Sometimes employers will do this just maybe for the upcoming recruiting season. Um, Sometimes they do it if they're specifically hiring for certain things, but they'll tell you, they'll basically what it is like an information session on their company, on the roles they're hiring for, what they're looking for, kind of the day to day in their office and stuff like that. Um, LinkedIn and your online presence, as touched on before, making sure your online presence is up to date, professional. Make sure your Handshake and LinkedIn and your resume kind of all match. They all have the same information. If a recruiter looks at LinkedIn and their resume and it has two different experiences, it would not kind of coincide together. So um But a lot of times on LinkedIn, when we have employers post things, if you're not familiar with LinkedIn, there's a lot of kind of interaction personal wise that we can't get on Handshake. So that's a great way to keep connections and, you know, look out for things employers are doing or hosting. And to kind of tie into any meet and greets and networking events their employers are having, or maybe some that we are announcing that they're having on campus. A lot of the student organizations partner with employers as well. So look out for those too. We also have job shadowing, and I will touch on that here in a few slides. Um, Employer industry panels, we had quite a bit last year because it was easy to do virtually. We could grab employers from all across the country, but typically, really honing in on employers on specific industries and having the supervisors and interns, um, you know, tell us about their experience. Those are really, really well attended. So look out on for those in ways to connect as well. And again, I know I touched on earlier on some alumni connections, but again, how I said connect with alumni, you can ask for something called an informational interview. It's basically a quick conversation, maybe, 15-minute. You're basically interviewing them, such as, how did you get to where you're at? Or what did you major in? Or did you do an internship? Or, um, they can really kind of serve as maybe a mentor as well. Um, so those are a really good, great ways, excuse me, to connect with alumni, and then, those alumni that are employers in your field. So, and then, ways to engage. I kind of touched on this on the previous slide, but our, internship program, international internships, obviously those have been, kind of not happening the past year and a half. But I can attest that those are back so far. So if you're interested in doing an international internship, whether it be, spring, summer, or fall of 2022 next year, um, we will be hosting one of the locations. I want to say it's London. It may not be London, but we work with this really great company called Global Experiences. Um, and if you go onto the Education Abroad webpage, and you can look at all the locations. But again, if that is something that you're interested in, kind of, getting in touch with us, Education Abroad office, looking at those opportunities, and seeing if that's something that you would be interested in. We also have our Explore the World of Work program. That's the job shadowing program. So um, typically it's during the week of spring break because, you as students are off school. So we have employers that offer to host students, typically, ideally, at their office location for that whole week. So some employers offer, all 5 days. So you could really have like a mini internship for that 40 hours that week, or some do, 2 or 3 days. But that's a really cool kind of quick way to really get, exposure in a company that you may not have thought of before. Or, again, if you can't or don't really want to commit for a whole semester internship wise, that's a really cool program because it's literally during spring break. So you can kind of, focus your time on that, and it's short. So, um, again, be looking out for that. We should be posting some things soon before the end of the year, but normally that takes place in spring break. And then we may or may not have some opportunities throughout the year. Um, but we will post our website a little later. And then, like I said, all this stuff is on our website as well. And then to round us out on this, we also offer Comet Treks. We did our first one this year It was virtually, obviously, but we did it with McKesson. So again, this is kind of it's almost like an information session, but I would say an informational field trip. Typically, it's you know students going to the employer's office, basically information session, but it's a tour of their office. You meet different teams. It's usually like a 3 to 4 hour kind of experience. So that'll be really cool when we can do it actually in person. So again, that's offered through our website, um, but be looking out for that as well. So a lot of this will obviously be a little interchanging because we're going from all virtual to back to hybrid and or back in person. So, but a lot of great ways to engage that way. Okay, so now to get into the eligibility. So in order to receive academic credit for an internship, you must be, currently enrolled, and you must have declared a major. You must be in good academic standing. So undergrads 2.0 at least, and graduates you must have a 3.0 GPA. You must have completed at least one semester at UTD. In addition, like this will also kind of depend on your individual academic school. So undergraduates must have a total of 24 plus credit hours. Graduates must have a total of 6. Again, usually if depending on what majors um, you were in, some require a little more hours within your major before you do an internship. So, um, and Alyssa just posted that. Thank you. Um, and then, like I said before, meet any additional requirements imposed by your academic department or school. And then one important note, graduate students are not eligible for an internship in the same semester. They're working as a TA, GA, or RA. Okay, so for all my non-JSOM and non-ECS students, this is for you. Um, so if you get an internship, you will report it in Handshake. You will, go to that same kind of your Handshake profile. From the top menu, Career Center Experience, you'll request an experience. And it's fancy word for reporting your internship. So you'll choose the appropriate experience type and the term. So the term would obviously, be fall 2021 or spring 2022, that sort of thing. Um, and then fill out the remainder of the request, paying attention to all the questions. And then once the questions are complete, you will then be required to upload an official offer letter from your employer and the official job description. And Alyssa also just posted this in the chat because there's quite a few things. I will note that I know I said my non ECS. If you are ECS, I will kind of touch on where you will need to be pointed towards to report your internship. Okay. But for my JSOM students, um, you will report your internship in Orion, so in Galaxy. In Orion, you must upload those same 2 documents, the official offer letter and the job description. There's a slightly different steps for domestic and F1 undergraduate students and then F1 master students. So the best way I can point you for information. JSOM created, and Alyssa just posted it. Thank you so much. Created some how-to videos. There's a ton of step-by-step information in there. So visit that if you are a JSOM student and you're looking to report soon. Um, but now here to get on the dates. Um, so again, we are in fall 2020 internship reporting right now. The last day you can report for credit is October 18th. And then the last day to enroll in the 8-week session is October 25th. So these sessions I'm talking about are the internship course session enrollments. So And thank you, Alyssa. She posted where all my ECS students need to be pointed towards the Johnson Career Services office in ECS. Will handle reporting of internships and enrollment and CPT for ECS students. And then for fall, the latest employment end date for graduating students, December 15th. So you can't work past December 15th. Latest employment end date for continuing students be January 9th, 2022. And again, all these dates can also be found on our website. And moving into spring, so spring 2022 reporting just opened in Orion and Handshake. So spring will be open from now until March 14th next year. And then if you're reporting a spring internship, the earliest employment start date is December 16th. Latest employment for graduating students is May 6th, 2022. And then latest end date for continuing students, May 22nd, 2022. And so also, I touched on a little bit of this earlier, but just all the internship contacts, we are stakeholders across campus. So Johnson Career Services for ECS students, JSOM Career Management Center for JSOM students. Now, all majors can obviously, come see us in the UCC as well, but JSOM and ECS also have their own career centers. And then we also, the ISSO office, the International Student Services office, for those of you that will be doing CPT. Um, we work with them well on the dates I just went over. So make sure you register for your CPT seminar, CPT workshop before you start that process. And then, as I mentioned before, if going abroad for an internship interests you, the Education Abroad office contact is on the screen as well. And then touched on previously, but again, you can come see us for resume assistance. You must be, enrolled and then an alumni with a Handshake account. Um, and it can be done in a few following ways. So um, drop-ins are 15-minute meetings with our peer educators. And they can, again, quick, so probably more formatting, grammar type visits. Um, and then resume critiques with your career consultant, as I mentioned before. But our career peer educators, excuse me, are also specialized in critiquing resumes as well. And then, as I stated before, all other appointments, one-on-one with our UCC staff, with your career consultant. And there are numerous types just encompassed in your career development. So check that out. There's plenty of types in Handshake when you're going to make an appointment. And then just a few of our events coming up. We do have a seminar for internships for international students on October 13th from 12 to 1. We are doing that with the International Student Services Office. So we will be going over, CPT process and just everything it is that an international student needs to know in the internship process. So and then also another great session. We just had one yesterday. If you missed our job and internship scams session we do with the ISO office, the Information Security Office, we will have another session on November 11th from 3 to 4. Very, very, very eye-opening, important session. They kind of teach and show you what to look for in scams, how to recognize what to not fall for, kind of, with COVID and everything be online, scamming has, come an all-time high, and they do unfortunately target students. So again, that is a really, really good session. We love working with the ISO office. So register for these on Handshake if you are interested. And round us out. Any questions? And you can raise your hand, you can type in the chat. And then if Alyssa, you want to add anything that I missed, totally cool.
Yeah, we'll give a couple minutes for you all to type your questions if you have anything. Hopefully this was helpful for you all. Again, if you're an ECS student, they're pretty separated. We don't even touch those internships or that process, but we are involved with JSOM and then all the other schools such as NSM, EPS, and what am I forgetting? ANH, ATEC. If you're an
PBS.
IS student, interdisciplinary studies, they also pretty much handle their own internships at this point. We just rarely get an IS student, unfortunately. But yeah, not seeing anything come in.
Trying to think. If if you don't have any questions you want to type or you think of some later, that is the best email to that goes straight to our interns inbox, and Alyssa and myself monitor that inbox. So if you think of a question or, have anything more you want to talk about, maybe on a, don't want to type in the chat, feel free to email us there and we would be happy to get back to you that way. Um, but other than that, that is all we have for you. If you could, again, our lovely QR codes. If you could take a moment and scan the code and tell us how we did, it really helps us, develop more engaging content or get some feedback from you guys. We really appreciate your participation today as well. But I'll leave that up on the screen for just a minute.
I will say too, if you missed the career fair that we just had last week, we will have a couple more fairs coming up. Just check out the fair section on Handshake, and that'll give you all the information you need. We should have an internship fair in the spring. We did our first one this spring, so earlier this year, and it was really great. So keep your ears open for that and see if that pops up on Handshake in the future. If you're still working on your internship search. But other than that, I don't think I have anything else to add.
Alyssa, can you tell them about the what am I trying to say? The Teams channel or the UCC
Oh
Connect.
yeah, yeah. So we have a Teams channel called UCC Connect, and it is a place where every Monday I go in and I share the events for the week and the links to the Handshake registration pages. And then there's also a questions thread where you can post questions that different team members can come in and answer. So if you don't really want to make, an appointment, if you don't have time necessarily, you can also post your questions in there. And if you go to our website, career.utdallas.edu, somewhere on that page has the link to join that channel. So I definitely encourage you to join. It's been a really great hub for information and idea sharing. So feel free to join that in your spare time and connect with us on there. And then we're also on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. We have our LinkedIn page as well, where we also share we share on campus jobs like hot jobs and stuff like that. Uh, we share articles, but yeah, feel free to connect with us on there as well.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Well, again, thank you for joining us today. And we hope to see you again, quote unquote, see you virtually in another one of our events. But thank you so much. And I hope everybody has a great day and great weekend.